Bhad Bhabie holding on to the roof of that car, crying, holding on for dear life, you know. That shit was funny as fuck, I ain't gonna lie, until you learn that that was her car.
But something just always tells me not to give up on him, and I don't know why.
As soon as you start laughing, as soon as you start turning a blind eye, you are now a part of the problem. No doubt about it.
No little girl is fast enough to catch a man that's not a predator.
I know a lot of people don't like Bhad Bhabie, right? I know a lot of us in our community, we don't fuck with Bhad Bhabie. A lot of us do, but a lot of us don't. And it's a mixed bag. I'm an adult man. I don't know much. I'll be honest, I ain't like I've like followed her life closely, but I know, I've heard enough stuff to to have like a decent idea about like what she's been through and things of that nature. So I'm one of the people that I tend to find myself like being empathetic and sympathetic to her situations, right? Yeah, I mean, I've heard her say the racist stuff and all of that stuff, and I don't let that shit slide. You know what I'm saying? Personally, I don't like that. But when it comes to the misogyny and the misogyny that exists within her world and what has happened to her, I can separate the two. I think, right? I don't think one it's not like a Charlie Kirk situation where it's like, I don't care because something bad happened to her because I've heard her say anti-black stuff or racist stuff, you know what I mean? Or whatever the case may be. I don't make excuses for the things that she said, but I also don't again, I don't let one affect the other in this particular case. Um, and what happened with her recently, really like her story, which is important, what happened to her and what is happening to her, I don't feel like I can sweep it under the rug, even with the feelings that I have about her being racist. Cause I do think she's racist. That's the thing. I do think Bhad Bhabie is racist. I don't care if she got a black baby daddy. I think she fetishizes black culture and black men. I think she goes out of her way to put on the aesthetic of what what looks like or seems like a black woman to her, so on and so forth. She's problematic in so many ways, no doubt about it. But again, I don't think that she deserves what's happening to her. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't think those are like they're not equal in my book. I'm like, yeah, she's racist, but she's also been raped by men. You see what I'm saying? And I don't think that those two things conflict with one another enough in my brain where I'm like, I don't care nothing about her and I'm just writing her off. Her story is very compelling and it needs to be like, we need to pay attention to it. I think as a culture, I think we do. I think it's more about the men that harm her than her in a lot of these cases. That's what I'm saying. Right. I think we need to focus on that, like the men that are harming her and the way in which society has absolved these men of any wrongdoings and how we continue to protect them. And I'm not going to be the person to protect them. You know what I'm saying? Like if she getting hands laid on her by her baby daddy, I think that's a problem. If she was being raped by a man, I think that's a problem. Right? Like no matter what, I don't care. I think that that's a problem. I think those are two different issues in my mind. But with all that being said, let's get into the story because there's a lot here. It's going to be a lot. Just for a refresher, let's just remind everybody what recently happened.
Hey yo, that video of Bhad Bhabie holding on to the roof of that car, crying and shit, holding on for dear life, that shit was funny as fuck. I ain't gonna lie. Until you learn that that was her car. And Levon, her man, was trying to leave in her car.
I'm not trying to stop you from leaving. You could go get an Uber, go get your own car and leave. You're not leaving in my car.
After he just spit on her and beat on her. After she just recently had surgery. And now she's in a hotel room with her baby.
I gotta talk about this shit in front of my baby because I'm stuck in a hotel room right now because I can't go to my house. because he has residency at both my houses.
And then she has to proceed to explain how abusive he is and how narcissistic and controlling this man is, to the point where he had her convinced that it was her fault that she was assaulted underage by her bodyguard, Frank.
We're arguing about some shit. I can't even remember what it was. Yeah, you trying to manipulate me, same way you manipulated Frank. I said, what?
That right there was so sick that he would say that to her. But also, that's another example of how men are actually the ones who weaponizes vulnerabilities. They try to weaponize the vulnerabilities of women against them. That's another example of that. I don't think a woman would ever do that to me. You know what I'm saying? I won't say ever, but like that, that right there, what just happened, that is an example of somebody weaponizing your vulnerabilities against you. That's when I be wanting men to bring that shit up. Like, what does it look like when a woman does that to you? It never looks like that. But I know tons of women who that has happened to them, right? A man is trying to gaslight them, and because he's a narc, he's using that type of stuff to manipulate them. So that's what it looks like to me.
It made her feel guilty about him getting arrested.
And I confided in my dancer and my DJ, and I was 16. I didn't know they were gonna have to tell the police. I thought they were just gonna help get him away from me. I didn't mean for any police tickets.
When did it stop being funny for you? When?
It was never funny for me. I never laughed at any of this ever. I've never thought any of this was funny. I've never kikied. Never have. I think it's terrible. I think all of it is terrible.
Because the whole thing wasn't fucking funny to begin with, right? The minute you start laughing at domestic violence is when you become an advocate for domestic violence. That's how the rules work. You cannot laugh at her because you don't like her, or you don't like her actions, or you don't like what she said. No one deserves to be on the receiving end of domestic violence. Ever. It seems like the only people who don't laugh at that shit are the people who've either witnessed it or been the victim of it. It's not funny no matter how you look at it. It's not funny no matter who it is. But a lot of y'all on the internet like to make these videos and laugh and make these videos and react and be in the comment section going crazy and having no idea that this person is crying on the bathroom floor with a baby in the other room, not knowing what the fuck she's going to do. Y'all have selective empathy. All of you have selective empathy if you find this shit funny. It's not funny. And to Bhad Bhabie, I'm sorry that you're going through this. You'll probably never see this, but I'm sorry. Baby girl, you do not need him back. I saw your recent video where you're saying you don't know what to do because something inside you is telling you to give him another chance.
But something just always tells me not to give up on him, and I don't know why.
That's your abuse talking to you. You've been at war so long, you don't know what peace looks like. You've been at war so long, you think war is peace. It's not. It's not. You should be able to be next to a man and feel safe. Not just because you call him your man, but because he's acting like one too. No woman deserves to go through this. You don't deserve to go through this, even if the world is telling you that you do. You don't. And I pray you find peace.
I didn't know how bad it was. I figured, because I've done videos on Bhad Bhabie before, and I could, I see the metrics and I see the reactions and stuff like that. And I was like, and she was talking about being abused in that video. And I was like, that's interesting how little empathy people have for this woman who is being abused. I did a video on, what's her name? Brittany Renner. I did a video on Brittany Renner. I've done like 2 or 3 videos on Brittany Renner. The way that like I can compartmentalize the things. Like, I don't really care for Brittany Renner. I don't think she's like, you know what I'm saying? Like a good representation of a human being, I have my hangups with Bhad Bhabie. Like, I will in a heartbeat though talk about how they are suffering at the hands of a man. I don't care. I don't care what I feel about them personally. I don't care if they, they rub me the wrong way or whatever. I don't care about none of that. I don't care about none of that. But when I see how people react and respond to that, I am kind of shocked. I am kind of shocked. Now, I'm not gonna lie, especially from like my subscribers and like people who follow me. I'm a little shocked. I'm like, that's interesting. You know what I'm saying? The reaction this is getting, because I would think that people would see that this is crazy. Like in the video about Brittany Renner, when she was telling PJ Washington pretty much like, you don't ever see your baby. You don't see, or not ever, but like you don't come by and see your baby enough. You don't spend enough time with him. You know what I'm saying? It was clear that he wasn't prepared to take his kid. He didn't even have a fucking bag for the baby. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't have a baby bag for his own child. You know what I mean? And people was like, she said he came to pick him up 2 times a week. And I'm like, then why doesn't he have his own baby bag? If he's that involved, like it was just little, it was, if you're a parent, it's telltale signs. I was like, yeah, he's obviously not that invested. You know what I mean? Like I understood that. I was like, yeah, and I would be angry, if I were her. I could easily see that. That just seemed like regular men not showing up for the baby, trying to play this role like he's a doting father, and he's not. That's what it looked like to me. So I shared it, and the reaction, people, I could tell people like couldn't care less about that. And I was like, that's interesting. And same thing with Bhad Bhabie. I'm seeing this, and I went and I read some messages after this happened, and I was like, wow, that's amazing that this is getting that reaction.
At this point, you guys are going back and forth. You accused him of having sex with Bhad Bhabie.
Everybody listen, apart Trippie Redd, there you go telling the truth again, there you go Stitch. All these rappers, Bhad Bhabie, while she was under, come on, next thing. And she knows it, they know it. But you know what? No, we like them. They kids. They kids. Just don't say, bro, chill. Bro, why you always got to open your mouth, bro? These niggas be kids, bro. Didn't I upload the picture of him laying on the chest, underage? You want me to show it to you?
I believe you.
All right, come on. Next question. Let's go. I'm not going to shit. I'm walking it down. That's what I do.
Okay. And I found something to be interesting about that exchange. First of all, gross as fuck. That was crazy. And everybody in the comments was like, yep, because she confirmed it. And it's been, other rappers kind of, there's picture, whatever, right? I believe everything he said. He did it to her too, first and foremost. So he don't get no fucking cookie for telling on the other dudes when he did it too. I'm glad he said it, but I'm saying I still am not about to give him no roses and like, because people was in the comments, and this is what I'm saying. It was people in the comments saying, oh, like, yeah, he's bad, but he don't lie. And they was like really praising that, right? So I'm like, so you guys can compartmentalize this man openly admitting to sleeping with an underage person. And you could say, well, at least he didn't lie about it. But we can't separate Bhad Bhabie being problematic in other ways from her being a victim of domestic violence and, sexual assault since she was a child. As maybe those things are correlated, by the way, her problematic behaviors and the abuse she has suffered. Right? I don't know. Maybe. Who knows, right? But yeah, I found that to be very interesting. But let's read some of the comments. Danielle fast as fuck. She wanted that life so bad. Some people create their own traumas. She wanted to be grown so bad, and can no one tell her nothing. Bhad Bhabie was a fast ass. She was wild. Chief Keef, Lil Baby, NLE Chopper, Kodak Black, Tory Lanez, Blueface, YG, YBN, Namir, Young Boy, Lil Yachty, Ty Dolla $ign is my age, Trippie Redd, XXX Tentacion, whatever, Rich the Kid, and more. That's who they saying, that she slept with. And some of these dudes, I think because she's like 22 and 6 years ago, I don't know how old X was and all, some of these dudes may have been her age or around her. I don't remember. I know Trippie Redd was 20 because he's 26. So 6 years ago, he was 20. I think NLE Chopper is around that age, like 24, 25, 26. So he probably was, 20 years oldish, somewhere around there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but Chief Keef and then he's 30 years old now. Chief Keef damn near gotta be 30. Tory Lanez, all these fools, man. Disgusting. And that's what she's been going through a lot of the times. Plus, she getting hands and feet put on her publicly by her baby daddy. And that I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? That's crazy. We cannot do that. You exactly what that man said. As soon as you start laughing, as soon as you start turning a blind eye, you are now a part of the problem. No doubt about it.
No little girl is fast enough to catch a man that's not a predator. Okay, and some of the girls that y'all say, oh, you can't even tell she ain't 18, you're a liar. That has a first class ticket to hell. So I've been looking at these pictures and I'm like, oh, that's a child. That's a kid. And chances are, if you have to guess if someone is of legal age, you probably shouldn't be dating them anyway. And even 18, it's still a teenager. It's too young. And that's what's be blowing me sometimes, even culturally. I remember the first time I got called fast. Being called fast. You put on red lipstick, you fast. You put on a two-piece swimsuit, you fast. You dancing in front of men in the family, you fast. No, your husbands are just predators. And instead of kicking the predators out, you would rather call the little girls fast and place the onus on the little girls. And I saw something on Twitter that said a little girl's childhood ends when men start finding her attractive, and that shit is so true. And we have to, as a society, do a better job at protecting young girls from predators, because no little girl is fast enough to catch a man that is not a predator.
And I just want to make sure everybody remembers that. That's pretty much where I'm like, that's just what I feel like. Like, I don't care. I don't care what she said. I don't care about any of that. These men have been preying on this girl since she was a preteen. Dr. Phil, too. All of them. I don't know. I ain't talking about with him sexually, but he definitely preyed on her and used her and all of that stuff to grow his popularity. Right. That I'm pretty sure that's his most popular. But I think she is his most popular guest. If I had to guess, by far, I would say she was his most popular guest. And he used her, no doubt about it. Her mother, nobody around her protected her. Her bodyguard didn't even protect her. The person that she paid to protect her didn't even protect her. It's another joke that I find about men being protectors. So the men, she paid a man to protect her, and that man harmed her. Because guess what? It is most likely going to be the man that is closest to you, even the man you pay to protect you. That's just what it is. And this has been a wake up call for me. I'm just more. I'm oblivious to a lot of this stuff. I feel like a little bit. I might be in a bubble a little bit. I was like, damn, I was shocked seeing all those comments and whatnot. I was very disappointed in reading a lot of those comments and seeing some of them reaction videos about Bhad Bhabie. Like, I was just like, this is crazy. And this is what it is. What I talk about all the time when I talk about promiscuity and how it's typically linked to a trauma. It's like promiscuity, and I mean, that varies from person to person, like what it actually is, right? Because to one person sleeping with one person a month isn't promiscuous. One person sleeping with one person a year is promiscuous. Like, who fucking care? I don't care about that. But I'm saying, like, for the person that is doing it, they know that they are being reckless. They know that you know what I mean? Like, they feel impulsive. Like, I'm saying, like, that when you feel like that, that is almost always directly connected to a trauma, right?
So they say after SA trauma that you can either become hypersexual or asexual. I very much became asexual. I will say it's very peaceful, but it does get to a point where I'm like, there's something wrong with me. But usually it's the guy that notices it before I do. But first of all, can we talk about why men are so pushy? I just ended up taking a break from all of you because every time I go on a date, the way y'all push and push and push and push when I'm like, no, I'm not feeling it, is pretty much disgusting. Like, I'm just gonna start slapping y'all. Y'all are that desperate?
Do it. No, I'm just oh man.
It's weird. It's weird. And this doesn't happen to my friends. Like, this is just a super common thing with me, I guess. And then it leaves us getting in a fight because I storm out and I'm pissed because they won't listen to me and I'm not going to be put in a situation like that again. And then they're like, what did I do? Like, am I not attractive? Am I not? Can a girl just not want to do anything? And it just completely puts me off even more. I will say a month ago I did hear about the term demisexual and anything that sounds like that I've always just been like completely disregard. I don't even care, whatever. Come to find out, being a demisexual means you have to have an emotional connection with someone before you feel like a sexual attraction to them. And I was like baffled because ever since this stuff happened to me, I've obviously been affected. But recently I've noticed that the people that I do end up really liking and actually do feel that way towards are the people that make me feel the most safe and the ones that I feel like I have an emotional connection with. I don't necessarily see people and be like, oh, like I want to take his pants off. I just don't operate that way, and I don't. I feel like maybe I used to. I used to find people attractive like that, but like I just don't anymore. But the thing is when I find someone that I do really like, then it's OVO. Like I'm solid. You would not think I had any issues, but it's a journey to get there. It's funny because it's not a bad thing to complain about because I just don't put up with so much BS and it's so peaceful over here. But it does get to a point where I'm like, there definitely is something wrong. But also I grew up like Mormon, so I have that like in the back of my head and whatever. I just have issues. It is what it is. But all these things going wrong in my life, at least I'm not pregnant.
Yeah. Everything she said is she just pointed out how it can go one way or the other. And I think with her, it went this way, but with like Bad Baby, it was the other. You know what I'm saying? Like her being SA'd, especially at a young age, is what prompted her, you know what I'm saying? Like just being promiscuous or whatever. That's what I think happened. If that's what happened, that's what I actually think happened. That's it. You know, and now she's grown-ish, growner, 22, I think her age is. And she has a kid and she's trying to do right or whatever. And not to say that was wrong for her, but the men won't leave her alone. She just, she's gonna hopefully she gets to a place to where she just is comfortable being by herself. And she's gonna realize the peace in that probably and be more protected and more safe. And I know that sucks, but that's been the journey for a lot of women. And I think most women, if they, if they, I don't know how to say this, like if most women like weren't interested in, like if most women like stopped giving men like a chance, I guess, and that, making excuses for men, I think most women would feel like that, to be honest with you. Even if they haven't gone through it yet, I think generally most women would feel that way about men because that's all we've shown them, unfortunately. So yeah, this is a very, for me, it's a very sad story. Like I don't like watching women get abused. Like I don't care. I don't know about y'all. I don't know. This is just my own personal thing. Like I like can't stand it. I don't care what I feel about her outside of the abuse. Once I see the abuse, I'm like, we got to talk about that. That's crazy. That is nuts. Like people were like laughing at Bad Baby. I'm sitting there like, what the fuck? I never thought that shit was funny. I don't care if it was his car. I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was terrible, though. Everything about it was terrible. Everything. Everything. Yeah, we gotta grow up, I think, a little bit as a society, man, on this one.